Hey, murderphoniacs! This is your host, Tony Ciaglia, the serial killer whisperer. Welcome back to Murder Phone, where we shine a light into the darkest corners of the human mind, and sometimes wish we hadn't.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
All right, everybody. You have to go to YouTube.
Yes. That's
to really take this in and absorb everything that it's worth. You know, you got to see it to believe it and to appreciate the what the fuck moment we're sharing with you. We missed this little gem the first time around, but it's worth dragging into the light, if only to haunt you while you sleep. Even at just 3 years old, it was unsettling, bloated, off kilter. Something about it felt wrong. Very wrong. And in hindsight, it was a chilling omen, perhaps. The fat, flamboyance, quiet violence simmering beneath the surface. All of it was there, hiding in plain sight. A twisted preview of the monster he was destined to become. Tonight, we descend further into the festering darkness that is John Wayne Gacy. Deadly Charade. And this one doesn't knock on the door. It slithers through the cracks. It wraps around your spine. And by the time it whispers your name, it's already inside. But I'm not wandering into this house of horrors alone. Oh, no. I've got my usual partner in crime fighting with me. My father, my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who still doesn't know how to use emojis, the fucking cocksman.
Thank you.
What do you mean by the emojis thing? I get emojis from you.
Yeah. Do they make sense?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I know. How about from Mom?
Oh, forget it.
Never.
Forget it.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I love when she tells me that she emailed me, but all she did was make a comment on a picture I posted on Facebook. That's the email.
I go over that all the time.
She's been telling us that for years.
I know.
Yeah. She's disabled.
Joey emailed me. I said, no idea. He posted.
I posted a picture.
Anyway, great to be here. And you know what? I think they're getting the idea. We're not going into this abyss alone, are we?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Who's coming with us?
Just think, this voice right here. Just imagine that whispering in your ear before I sodomize you.
Oh, God. Oh, please. Please. You're up, Mr. Host.
I know.
Take your time. It's that good. It's worth it.
It is.
Let it fester. Let it simmer.
That's right, Coxman. That's right. We got backup today. We got backup. Someone who's been in the trenches with us before. Someone who knows true crime, survival, and the psychological trauma of being related to moi. Ladies and gentlemen, double check your locks. Lock away your little daughters. And if you're wearing clown makeup, maybe reconsider, because joining us tonight is my brother, Joey.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's quite an intro. Shit. Well, if we're talking serial killers and psychological trauma and epically bad choices, you knew I wouldn't miss this. I got to say something, though. I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate this guy. And you've covered some real scumbags. I mean, like this guy, I don't know what it is about him.
Oh, so do I.
What is it?
I don't know. I despise
Is
him,
it the arrogance? He's just
it's everything.
Disgusting human. But look, growing up with you, Tony, that was the best. Always exciting, never a dull moment. I didn't know if we were getting like in a fight or we were going to celebrate. It was just all over the place. But to this day, I'm still trying to decide what was scarier, John Wayne Gacy or that time that you convinced me to play Buried Alive in the backyard. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah,
What was I thinking?
You made it. You fucking made it, didn't you?
Well, you were only 3.
Well,
Exactly. I just told you, hold your fucking breath.
Hold your breath. And then you told me there was a dinosaur that lived in the pool too. I believed that.
That was awesome.
Yes, remember?
Brontosaurus.
Bronte.
Jesus.
Yeah, so we told Joe that the drain in the deep end was where Brontosaurus, where he stepped one time and left his footprint.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's great to be back. I hate this guy. I had to come in for it. Just, I don't know if I could sit here and talk about him for the next hour.
know. I told Joey.
He's the worst.
I told Joey Gacy, he said, I'm in.
The
I'm
worst.
in. As much as I hate it,
God, he's the worst.
And the fact that he's a closet fag, you know, it's like, it's like fucking come out, you know, I'm bisexual.
Bisexual.
He can't come out. He
bisexual.
just can't do it.
No, there's nothing bisexual about him. And in this interview, he's like,
I prefer women.
yeah, I prefer women. I have children. I've had wives.
Oh, God. Think about that.
Anyway, this is going to be a really good episode. And you guys, there's some really cool well, not cool, but cool information in here. I'm excited to be here.
Great.
We're excited to have you.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
are.
One more thing I want to add real quick.
Yeah.
What was the car you got to ride in this weekend?
I got to ride in a Bugatti.
Chiron. Right?
Chiron, yeah?
Chiron.
Yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
What an experience.
Yeah.
16 cylinders, 4 turbos, 1,500 horsepower. It's just like,
It's not, it shouldn't be illegal.
Unbelievable.
you know, when you're in a really fast car and it's like 0 to 60, you feel that G-force pull.
Yeah.
This car did that from 100 to 200. You felt that G-force pull.
You were
that-
going 200?
Close, 190.
Maybe 210-ish.
I'm glad I didn't know.
I was having a heart attack.
Don't tell your mother.
Oh,
You told him to slow down, didn't you?
it's an incredible car. Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't even talk
Yeah.
though. Like my face was, sucked back and
Was it really?
No, I'm kidding. But it's
No,
pretty
I believe it.
comfortable car to ride in though. You would think for a hypercar,
Mhm.
like that, but it was nice. It had a nice cockpit. It was comfortable to sit in. But yeah, the acceleration is absolutely unreal.
Awesome.
Unreal.
The
Yes.
French make that car, don't they?
I don't know. The English or the Italians, maybe.
No, come on.
Bugatti sounds Italian.
I'm not sure where it's from. That's a good question. I'm going to look it up.
Because if it was Italian, it would be even better than what it is now.
I'll tell you in a second. Carry on.
That's the spirit. I like it when you guys are both amped up to do this show.
Oh, we're amped.
Yes.
It is the French.
The
It
French.
is the French.
Good call. Yeah. Good
Wow.
call.
Oh, thank you. So, buckle up, folks. Yep. Because this episode is going to get dark. It's going to get disturbing. And with Joey here, it might just go completely off the fucking rail.
Might. Oh, I guarantee you it will.
Mm-hmm.
With him here and you here, I should just leave.
You're the anchor.
Oh,
He's the anchor.
Yeah.
yeah. As soon as I figured the emojis out, I'll be all right, right? All right, guys, where were we? That's right. Our buddy John Wayne Gacy was slithering his way out of prison after serving a pathetic 18 months. 18 months, man. That's barely enough to get through a bad relationship.
You know,
right?
You want to know something funny too? Before I left the office, I was on my way here.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the office asked me where I was going. And I said, I was coming to do the podcast episode. And he's like, oh, you know, what are you guys covering now? And I told him Gacy. And he said, Gacy, you know, what are you talking about? Because he's so well covered, you know? And I said, well, this approach is a little different. We're going to talk about how many times they had this fucking guy and then they let him go. And he said, didn't he serve like 18 months and he got out? And I said, yeah, listen to the episode. We're going to talk all about it. So
yeah,
I mean,
hell yeah.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that, but the police didn't know it. Figure that out.
And you know why he was serving, don't you?
Yeah.
Sodomy charges.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You like that word.
No, I love that word. And it's like, you know, it cracks me up because it's like the way he says sodomy is like, you know.
You have it there. You got it.
What?
It's a little, you get a little Boston twist in there. With
Yeah,
him.
I do, right?
It's sodomy. He says it right.
Yeah, sodomy. And it's like, I'm doing a charge. It was a sodomy charge, you know, and I believe I was getting blackmailed. And another thing, I mean, he fucking talks about sodomy with 15-year-old boys like he fucking shoplifted at a Smith's grocery store.
Right?
Right?
The kid was blackmailing him.
Blackmailing him.
15 years old, right?
15
And it was
years
only
old.
oral sex. It was consensual. And I'm not gay.
Not
I
gay.
just got to get that clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
John.
Go on. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. You're the host.
Mm.
And he should have been locked away
Oh, yeah.
forever. So it's almost impossible to believe. He was charged with one, but multiple boys came forward, all with the same story. You know, all with the Colonel, Mr. Chicken Man. What he did to them in the basement wasn't his basement, of course. It was his in-law's basement. But the Colonel, I mean, he did things to them. They all talked about the same crimes. And what did he get charged with? One.
Not 8.
One. Oral sodomy and sodomy. Think about that shit for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Everyone's out there going, why? What the hell? Why? You know why? Because DAs, they love deals. Let's make a deal. It's the easiest. The least path of resistance. Always remember that. A little slap on the wrist. We'll take care of you. Because you know what? Trials are work, man. They're hard work. A lot goes into it.
Every fucking crime show we watch.
Deal. Let's
Deal.
make a deal. No deals.
No
this
deal.
guy should not have gotten any kind of deal.
When there's kids involved, no deal.
No deal.
Period.
That's
End of
right.
story. That's
End of
it.
story.
There's no rehabilitation for these people.
You think he at least made these kids like, I don't know, take a shower before he did the oral sodomy?
Au contraire, he probably went the other route. Don't you have to go to the bathroom?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Right. Okay. Anyway, another thing, if they lose, it doesn't look too good on their resume. It's all about winning. And if they do a deal, they got it locked up. It's a win in the books. And I would love to say times have changed, you guys, but you know what? It might even be worse now. And like you said, everything we watch, deal. Everyone.
Especially if you're in a liberal state.
So this isn't going to surprise any of you. On June 18th, 1970, the unthinkable happened. Back then it was unthinkable. John Wayne Gacy was paroled after serving 18 fucking months. Think about that, guys.
Of a 10-year, right?
Of a 10-year sentence
That's terrible.
for torturing and sodomizing not one, but 8 boys.
Gosh.
And he walked right the fuck out of the prison, smiling all the way. And no one knew that they just unleashed one of the most, maybe the worst or monstrous serial killers that ever lived.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So he sodomizes these 8 boys, right?
Yeah.
But he let them go.
Oh, yeah, he didn't kill any of these.
Right. Why do you think he did that?
I don't know. This was in Waterloo, Iowa. He wasn't
in Des Plaines yet, right?
He wasn't in Chicago yet.
I know why he did it. Because he would have got caught. The kids knew him. The families knew him. It's a small town.
Yeah.
He changed his MO,
which we'll cover the dates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dad, you know what I think about the word sodomy, sodomizing. I mean, it's okay when I'm doing it to my girlfriend. But other than that, the sound of it just, it hurts me. I mean, not like it hurts her. Because, and I've talked about it before, my size and everything.
God.
Joey, take over, Joey.
Can we get on to the
content
take over
here? Take over.
Jesus.
The content.
All right. June 18th, 1970, Gacy gets shipped to Chicago to live with his mother. Can you imagine his mom opening the door and Gacy standing that little pudgy piece of shit and standing there and he's like, "Hey mom, I'm back. Like, I just got out of prison for some minor misunderstanding with teenage boys." I mean,
Dad,
how does this happen? So anyway, all right, listen to this bullshit.
Minor misunderstanding.
Listen to this bullshit. So part of Gacy's probation conditions included a strict nightly curfew. Now, you would think that meant anyone would actually be watching him, right? Wrong.
The finger.
Wrong. So once Gacy gets back, he wastes no time. So June 18th, 1970, he's shipped to Chicago. February 12th, 1971, just 6 months after he gets back, guess what he does?
I know.
He does what Gacy does. He picks up a teenage boy at a Greyhound bus terminal. He's charged with sexual assault. Remember, this is 6 months after he got out of prison.
Unbelievable.
Charged with sexual assault, but you ready? The big shocker? The case was dropped because the victim didn't show up in court. Now, you get a speeding ticket and you don't show up in court, you're fucking guilty. If the cop doesn't show up in court, do they let you off if the cop doesn't show up in court?
Yes.
Okay. But this is a kid that was sexually fucking molested
and he
here.
Didn't show up,
and he didn't show up. But he didn't have an attorney?
He probably is a runaway and just didn't want to show up.
Terrible.
Who knows? Gacy.
Okay. So case is dropped. Now this asshole's on probation. So you would think that somebody would at least glance at his file. Nope. Gacy skates again. And then, because nobody was watching, just 3 months later, okay, June 22nd, 1971, Gacy gets arrested again. So now we're 9 months after he's released from prison, 9 months later, and he's on his second arrest. But this time, he's charged with aggravated assault and battery and reckless conduct. So here's the scene. And this, what I'm going to tell you, who does this remind you of? That Gacy flashes the sheriff's badge.
Bianchi! Asshole! Fucking asshole!
Yeah, the good old sheriff badge trick again.
Oh, yeah.
gets a young boy in the car, and then, you guessed it, forces him to perform oral sex. But of course, guess what happened? The charges were dropped again. And still, nobody checks on Gacy. Not his parole officer, not the cops, not one single person.
Think about that shit.
It's crazy. You think back, sure, back then things were not as advanced as they are now with technology and phones and tracking and all that stuff. But seriously, like, what's the point of putting this jerk off on probation if nobody's going to monitor him?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So his arrests were clear parole violations. He should have been sent back to Iowa to finish his 10-year sentence. Unfortunately, he didn't. So nobody reported him. So the Iowa Board of Parole remained in the dark. And then, because karma took a lunch break.
That's a great line.
Right?
Yes.
Gacy's parole officially ended on October 18th, 1971. All right. So his parole now is over, but he's been in trouble 2 or 3 times since he got released in less than a fucking 12-year period or 12-month period. All right. So this is like unbelievable. 1 month later, in November of 1971, November 19th to be exact, his criminal record was sealed. And it was sealed as if he were a teenager caught shoplifting, not a dangerous predator with a history of sexual assault. Imagine that.
Sealed.
Why the fuck was it sealed?
Yeah, like the John F. Kennedy fucking files.
Oh.
John Gacy
The guy
files.
that knew 18 months, I bet he didn't know the file was sealed, though, did he?
Absolutely not.
Right.
So thanks to this colossal fuck up on both the courts and law enforcement and everybody involved with this guy, the door was wide open and John Gacy stepped right through the door with a smile, which would result in many, many innocent lives lost.
Exactly.
And they could have stopped it.
You know what I've named Gacy? He'd be great in like gay porn. Gacy, the king of sodomy.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
If you asked him, he probably wasn't porn. He's the guy was a jack of all trades, right?
He knew it all.
He knew everything.
Did it all.
He knew it all.
Yeah, Kentucky
Did it
Fried
all.
Chicken. He was he was running a graveyard.
In May 1971, he conned his mother into helping him buy a home at 8213 West Summerdale Avenue. What do you call it? What kind of an estate is it?
Palatial.
Palatial estate.
And if you go to YouTube, you'll see it. Don't take my word for
The
it.
pool table.
Yeah.
The game room. I mean, that's
the game room.
Go and take a look at it.
That was it was a palace.
Exactly. You'll see what kind of women married John Gacy
Oh,
and fucked his friends too.
Yeah.
Like the little swap.
God.
Oh, and just to sprinkle some extra what the fuck on this story. You're like the Sandman over there. Gacy became the neighborhood's favorite handyman.
what a nice guy.
What a nice guy.
I'm just here to lend a helping hand.
Exactly.
Yes. Whatever I could do.
Do you
Whatever
need a
you
wrench? Do you need a wrench? Huh? Do you need somebody to sodomize your 15-year-old kid? Jeez. And that's the same with Dean Coral, too.
Oh, yeah, he was a helper.
Yes, the Houston Candyman. He was a helper. He did everything for free around the neighborhood.
Boy, he got it, didn't he?
Who?
Coral.
Yeah, Coral.
Coral, yeah, he got 6 shots in the chest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too quick.
And Murder Phone, we'll
Mama,
cover that.
I kill Wayne, Mama.
Oh, yeah.
I killed him. Mama.
I was good friends with
Or
Wayne
Dean.
Henley.
Dean. I said Wayne.
You said Wayne.
Yeah, I killed Dean.
Is that you, Wayne? Is that you?
No, she's, this is your son, Wayne, Mama. This is Wayne. She's on the other end going, who is this?
Who is this?
Yeah, Mr. Helpful. Always around to lend a tool. Shovel snow off sidewalks for free. probably whistling while he worked. You know, the whistler. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I've lived in Vegas for fucking so long, you know, and it's like when I'm in there taking a piss in a casino and some asshole comes in there and he's whistling next to me and I want to slap him in the back of the head. It's like, what's so funny? What's so good?
Maybe,
you know,
maybe
I just lost 10 grand, asshole, out there playing blackjack.
He's whistling.
And he's whistling.
I love it.
That wasn't enough to make your skin crawl. Get this. Get this. Every summer, he threw theme parties. Loud. Festive. Hundreds of guests. Laughing, drinking. Politicians. Well, you know, they fucking suck. So I mean, of course there's going to be politicians at a Gacy party, right?
that might be the best trait that he had, though. The guy was he liked to throw parties.
Yeah.
He did, didn't he?
People didn't know they were on top of a graveyard, but no.
But though, he dressed up.
Yes.
At these parties, like a patriot,
Yes.
you know, or the clown.
Yes.
Was there any others?
Oh, several different ones.
Costumes.
He went as a chef one time
Yes.
because he is a chef, you know. He was flipping hamburgers at Joe's burger stand, but he called himself a chef. Fucking, he's an asshole.
He was the head cook in prison.
Yeah.
Of course he was.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Head cook. Headline cook.
Yeah, remember the guy?
Uh-huh. Whatever
That
the fuck.
interviewed him?
Yeah.
You're a man of some importance around here, aren't you?
Don't say that to Gacy.
No.
You know? No. So anyways, though, they're at these fucking parties, right? They're at these parties, hundreds of people, and they're shaking hands with a monster. They had no idea. Mingling with a man who buried boys in his crawl space.
33.
No.
He ran out of room
He
at
ran out of room.
29.
25. 26.
26. Then he had, let me think.
Then he had
25, you're right.
25. Then he had one under the garage.
One under the garage, yep.
One under the
Barbecue.
and one under the tool shed.
Okay. And then
Or is that the garage?
that's the garage.
But there were 33 total, right?
Yeah.
33 total.
Yeah.
And then he dumped 6 in the Des Plaines River. You know, dressed up as a patriot.
Oh, yeah. A community guy.
Asshole.
Right?
He's a community guy.
He's a community guy. Exactly. In 1971, Gacy launches his part-time construction company.
What the fuck is a part-time construction company? That's what I want to know.
Oh, gosh. Right? PDM Contractors. A great business name. But let's be honest, truth be known, PDM really stands for pedophiles disguised as men.
I like that.
That's good, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good line.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That would have been more accurate. He probably wouldn't have gotten as much business, right?
Well, no, but he
spun
strutted it.
He would have spun it
He
some way.
strutted it. I'm a contractor. You know, I'm a big shot. I throw parties and, you know, I know a lot of people.
I could just see him.
Yeah.
It's disguised. He's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy.
Did you take care of that thing? You know, that thing I told you to take? That'd be Gacy. Did you take care of that? The fuck are you talking about, right?
So Gacy's parole officer approved his request to work days as a cook and nights doing construction, meaning he was fully aware of the PDM job. Yet somehow he he missed the 2 criminal charges like you were just talking about. Gacy wrapped up back in 1971.
Can we talk about this parole officer for a second?
Mm.
Was this guy like on heroin?
I've thought about that often. Maybe
mean-
he was blind and deaf and dumb. I mean, he's a parole officer.
I'd love to talk to him
Mm-hmm.
and just ask him, what
What
were you thinking?
What were you looking at?
You have one job to do.
Well, nobody called me.
Fuck.
Fucking terrible.
He seemed like a nice guy.
He was probably at the parties.
Probably.
He was hobnobbing.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Dressed as a parole
It's
officer.
terrible.
So this arrangement, right, gave a known predator free reign to roam the streets and bus stations at night. And no one thought to look into it.
Nope.
No. Brilliant oversight by law enforcement. Because apparently monitoring a convicted sex offender just wasn't a priority. In August 1971, Gacy's life took another twisted turn. Just after moving into his now infamous house with his mother, he got engaged to Carol Huff.
She must be a beauty.
Oh, wait till you hear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she's an old high school flame. So, you think he was throwing her cock back in high school?
No.
He wasn't, was he?
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. I mean, these were days when
It's kind of like, it reminds me of Shawcross, Like, I feel like this guy was such a narcissist. He built up so many things in his mind of
Fantasies.
himself.
Yeah.
He probably couldn't operate sexually, if I had to guess.
Oh, she said he couldn't.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. He was never interested.
He wasn't interested in that. He was interested in strangling and torturing
Mhm,
and
mhm.
murdering people. He's not a sexually interested person in providing pleasure to another adult human being.
you forgot sodomizing.
I didn't forget it. I knew you'd say it.
You did. You did. I love it. You know me. Oh, fuck.
So tell me something. Does this mean, because Carol had 2 kids, right?
Oh, yeah. And they moved in.
So this means that Gacy's he's like a dad now.
He is. He's a stepfather. He's a stepfather.
A father figure.
Uh-huh.
Think about that.
Yeah. He did. He
But
became a
that-
father figure.
Yeah.
So in 1971, right, was a banner year for him. He felt fucking unstoppable. And his,
Psychopathy.
I knew it. That's your word.
That is my word.
That is. I have trouble saying it.
Psychopathy.
It's great.
You notice he can say sodomy, but he can't say psychopathy.
But yeah. It's
Interesting. Interesting. We'll delve
Psychotomy.
into that later. We'll do a deep dive into that.
So his psychopathy, right?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yes, was just spiraling out of control.
Which leads us to the first. And it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. January 3rd, 1972. So what are we? We are 3 months after his parole ended, right?
Right.
And his case
Right.
was sealed.
Mm-hmm.
16-year-old Tim McCoy was just passing through Chicago on his way to Omaha, Nebraska to go visit his dad. But fate and Gacy would have other plans for young Tim McCoy. Fresh from a family party, Gacy headed to his usual hunting ground, the Greyhound bus station. Tim was a young man, very trusting, and likely just looking for a little kindness. Gacy offered a smile, a ride, and a tour of the city, and then, of course, invited him to stay the night. God, man.
Don't go.
I know. If you just think about something so horrible like that, if somebody could have just stopped it,
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It was the same deadly pattern that Gacy always used. He would gain their trust, and then he would turn it into absolute terror. By the morning, McCoy, who was just a polite kid, trying to show gratitude, he got up early to make breakfast for Mr. Gacy. Then, with a knife in hand from him cooking, walked into Gacy's room, very innocent and unaware. He just had a knife in his hand because he was cooking. And of course, Gacy claimed that he had a knife and he was threatening him and he was standing over him, and John had to defend himself. So,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sure, John. I'm sure that's what it was.
Right.
So what does this piece of shit do? I'll give you one guess. What's he do? Did he take the knife from the kid's hand and set it gently on the counter and say, "What are you doing?"
No, it's a weird thing that he did. He says, I grabbed his hand and I twisted it, and that's how he died.
And
It
then,
doesn't really make any sense.
does that explain the multiple stab wounds in the kid?
He stabbed him
Over and over and over and over again.
Piece of shit.
That poor kid never had a chance.
Nope.
And true to form, Gacy spun it as self-defense. Just another fucking lie from a master manipulator. Complete narcissist, manipulating piece of shit.
Here's Gacy talking about his first kill during an interview with Robert Ressler.
How about Tim McCoy, the last one of the 5 that you say you had personal knowledge of?
Tim McCoy, even though he's the last one, he's the first one.
He's the first one, actually.
Right.
The first of the 33.
Tim McCoy was the first one, and Tim McCoy's name wasn't put on him until 1988. Prior to that, he was known as Unknown Number 9, and he was buried by me in the crawl space. That's the only knowledge that I have of it.
What was the circumstances of that?
He was killed in the house in self-defense.
And who killed him then?
I stabbed him.
Yeah, and it was an issue of self-defense. Why was he in the process of assaulting you, or what?
He was coming at me with a knife. I just took the knife away and twisted it in his hand, and that's what killed him.
So at that point, you yourself did bury him then in the crawl space.
Right, and if you notice, he's under concrete.
Did you bury any of the others in the crawl space?
No, I had nothing. I had no knowledge of him.
Yeah. Well, why is it that your first one is there, and then 20 some others are buried down there as well? Did somebody know that you had done this with the first one, to giving them an idea?
More than likely, when drinking and getting high with the others, yeah.
Admitting it to them. So you feel others then followed your suit in using this as a burial ground?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So there it was, guys.
That was the first.
And it was what you guys were just talking about. Did you hear? First of all, did you guys, Robert Ressler, he's one of the guys with John Douglas that he's a profiler with the FBI. Did you hear the way he talked? The way he interviewed Gacy? I mean, it was perfect. Just let him along,
Yeah, the questions are good.
And by the way, Ressler grew up 4 blocks from this piece of shit.
Oh,
Gacy even delivered food to his house.
Oh, he did that too?
Oh, yeah. He's a man.
God,
Jack
this
of
guy
all
did it all.
trades.
Yeah.
He had it all covered.
Jack of all trades.
Jeez.
So what did we learn? What?
You got to throw in sodomy too.
Oh, yeah.
Jack of all trades.
So Tim was he was the first one to be buried underneath the house, right?
Right.
In the crawl space.
Right.
But they didn't identify him for like 16 years, right? In 1988.
Yes. 88.
How did they, what was it, dental? How'd they identify him?
It was dental it was dental.
Dental?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Gacy, you heard him.
He came at me.
It's what Tony said.
Self-defense.
I grabbed his hand and twisted it, and that's how he died. And he buried him in the crawl space. He admitted it.
Yep.
And actually covered it with concrete. He was the first one. Well, did you hear the way he said it? He was coming at me with a knife. I had to protect myself.
God.
Just the way he talks makes you want to puke. Right? Maybe the kid said, kill me. Please kill me. I did something last night I'd like to be killed over.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then, and here it comes. he's always said this. He didn't know about the bodies. And Ressler said, oh, well, that was the first one. Who buried him? Oh, I did. What about the other 25 that came after that, John? Oh, well, it must have been the other guys. Oh, did you talk to them? Well, when we were getting high and drinking, yeah, I probably said a few things.
And they took notes from you, and they followed suit.
Yeah.
And committed sodomy on each other.
But then he said, and it was the key, he goes, so what you're saying is you knew nothing about it and this became a graveyard. He said, absolutely, definitely. And you hear the way he tells, so
It's
arrogant.
sick. The arrogance is what gets me.
Yeah.
But years later, when he was safely behind bars, he admitted something absolutely horrific. He said that the moment he killed McCoy, as the boy gasped and choked and gurgled on his own blood, he felt something very unexpected. He felt a rush, a high, and a mind-numbing orgasm. And then he had this realization. That's when I knew death was the ultimate thrill. This wasn't just murder, it was a revelation. It was who he was meant to be. No panic, no guilt, and like most of them, no regret. He cleaned up, dragged McCoy's body to the crawl space, and that became his first of many. Then he sealed the grave in concrete at 8213 West Summerdale. It wasn't a crawl space anymore. It was now a graveyard.
So he had a mind-numbing orgasm.
That's
while he was killing the kid. Couldn't come with Carol. Couldn't get off with her.
That's terrible.
But when he was killing the kid.
Others have described that though, right? To you, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
What, that they couldn't perform sexually?
No, that feeling.
When they were killing.
When they were killing.
Oh,
They
yes.
got addicted to that feeling, right?
Yes.
Eric Armstrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David Gore.
It was like a drug.
Is he
David
alive?
Bundy.
Is he alive still? Armstrong?
He is, yeah.
Is he?
Mm-hmm. And I have so much stuff on him, like fucking so many conversations on the phone.
Yeah.
Him talking to me, yeah.
That'll be a good one.
He's another one that's creepy.
Yeah,
What?
he's creepy.
In his conversations when you talk about choking people, and he'd be like, and that's it.
Yeah, he sounds like a disc jockey.
That little.
Hey, guy. Hey, Tony, what's up, man?
She was dead. She was dead before she even got in my car.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. We'll get to him.
Yeah.
So anyway, to understand how this nightmare kept slipping past the authorities, we got to go way back to the dates. Because somehow this twisted clown juggled murder, a fiancé, and his mom. Ready for this? All under one roof. He's killing and burying. He's got his fiancé. He's got his two daughters, or the fiancé's two daughters, and his mom, all living in the house while he's doing this.
You got to admit, that's fucking impressive.
It must have been palatial. I mean,
No,
to have
was.
that many people in there
Was.
comfortably.
Yeah, no, it's a tiny house.
1,300 square feet. Palatial mansion.
Yeah, it's a tiny house.
How do you even fit a pool table in there?
We'll see a picture of it later.
Yeah.
Yes. With the tiki bar.
Yeah. So somehow this twisted clown juggled all this. So Joey laid out Gacy's first known kill, January 3rd, 1972. So mark it. At the time, he was engaged to Carol Huff, planning a wedding, while hiding a corpse. And yes, his mom lived there too. Quite the guy.
Mom, Dad, I met this beautiful Polish boy. Can you see that?
Was that Carol?
That was Carol Huff talking to her parents.
Okay, jump to July 1st, 1972. He marries Carol. She and her 2 daughters are living at his murder lair. The wedding reception, yeah, you guessed it.
At the Palatial Palace.
At the Palatial Palace. Yes, it was.
Yeah, you love it. He had the fucking wedding reception at that house.
Oh, yeah.
And he's loving it.
But at the time, only McCoy is underneath, right? He's only killed McCoy so
He's
far.
Just one so far, yeah.
Exactly.
At the house that we
Yeah.
know of.
But that's great. You know, the whole time when he's walking around in his tuxedo, when he'd rather be wearing a fucking
Clown suit.
clown suit or a patriot outfit, you know, he loved it. And he was thinking, oh my God, if these people only knew there was a dead body down in my crawl space.
Probably wanted to show him.
Oh,
That's pretty
Right.
twisted.
it
Yeah.
is twisted.
So, meanwhile, his mom moves out. Probably the smartest move she ever made in her life.
Mm.
So there it was. A new wife, kids, fresh paint on the walls,
Probably some silverware.
a body in the crawl space. This is the American dream. John Gacy style.
Yeah, John. All he's missing is the white picket fence,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
He could have had his part-time construction company do that quick, though.
Joe!
Pedophiles disguised as men.
Men. PDM.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
By July 1974, the monster was getting bolder. Gacy claimed his second victim, still unidentified, no name, no face, just another lost soul beneath that house. He strangled him and then shoved the body in the closet. Yeah. Yeah, the closet.
Mm.
Think about that shit.
Yeah, because we know John wasn't in the closet anymore.
Not even a crawl space yet. That came later after the body
Ugh.
started leaking.
Ugh.
Gacy, ever disturbingly casual, said fluids dripped from the nose and mouth, staining the carpet, his carpet. The one guest probably walked over during game night. So what did he do? He improvised.
He improvised.
He improvised. For future kills, he stuffed rags or the victim's underwear way down into their throats, not to muffle the screams, to stop the leakage. Because murder was fine, but a stained carpet. Unacceptable.
What do you think-
Unacceptable.
What do you guys think that smells like?
Oh,
God.
How did the Carol Huff not? Oh no, now she's Carol Gacy.
yeah.
You know,
Ugh.
I'm so proud I get that last name.
So now we have two.
Yeah.
We have two in the
Yeah.
crawl space.
Too.
And the kicker? Through it all, Gacy was still playing house, guys. He was still married. He was still tucking in Carol's daughters at bedtime, right above the growing graveyard. How in the hell did nobody notice this?
That's truly unbelievable.
Was he that good at that? You can't hide the smell of death. You just can't.
I just think that,
Maybe just somebody decided to look the other way.
yeah, you know, those daughters, they were safe because, you know, they're not on the same team that Gacy likes them.
They weren't his type.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to say this, but it was a house of horrors, okay? It was a house of horrors, and the stage had Gacy as the director, as the actor, and the monster crawling around in the crawl space.
Didn't I tell you, Mom? He's a wonderful Polish boy. I just can't figure out why he never fucks me.
Could you, just for a minute, if you close your eyes and you think about, you know, back in 1974 and you just close your eyes for a minute and you think about this this guy crawling around under his house, trying to dig a hole to put these dead bodies into. Think about that.
Well, he had help.
He had help because he's a fat slob. Remember,
We'll get into that. He had help. And did you ever see it?
Yeah,
The
the
video?
crawl space.
You've
Yeah.
seen it, right?
Yeah.
I've seen the
I
video.
mean, you literally have to
It's-
like crawl around down there, especially a fat fucking doughbie piece of shit
Oh.
like him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at it. Who's
Crawling
this guy?
around.
Look at this guy.
Some aggression in that.
Yeah. Put some aggression. So May 1975, Mother's Day. While most people were buying flowers, John Wayne Gacy made it unforgettable. That night, after sex with his wife, hold the fuck on. He had sex with his wife?
So they say.
So they say.
Yes.
The verdict's out.
There's toys for that, you
You
know.
know he didn't fuck
The
it.
verdict's out.
Yeah.
I love it. The verdict's out. So after sex with his wife, he rolled over and he casually said, I'm bisexual. Oh, and this is the last time we're ever going to fuck. Oh, happy Mother's Day, Carol. Why? Because Gacy, he didn't want domestic bliss. He wanted young boys.
What is that? What's that?
I don't know. You know, I get
Calm
carried
down a
away.
little
I
bit.
get carried away sometimes.
I know.
Sometimes.
Jeez.
He wanted boys and murder and murder. And for that, he needed privacy. He needed his own fucking place. Yeah. A house full of women just wasn't ideal for storage. Oh, I love that line. I love that
storage.
line.
Uh,
Fast forward now, right? Fast forward to July 31st, 1975. So we got 18-year-old John Bukovich. Now, John, he's a PDM employee. And he vanishes.
He could have picked any construction company in the world, and he ended up there.
yeah.
Exactly. And you know this is a fucking little business.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of guys working for
No.
him.
It's part-time construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they're all like teenage boys, too, that are working. There's no men working there. They're teenage boys.
Red flag. Red flag. Red flag.
Yeah. And I mean, this guy, he vanishes. Poof, gone.
And I hope they look.
Capiche?
I hope they look on YouTube because this picture of this poor kid. I mean, he's a baby. I mean, he's a
Mhm.
young boy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, that's on our YouTube channel. His car's found abandoned. Keys are still in the ignition. His wallet and jacket are inside the car. Like he meant to come right back. But unfortunately, he didn't. Bukovich's, I love that name. That's a Polish boy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bukovich.
Yep.
Bukovich's dad, he goes to Gacy. And Gacy, he's all smiles. You know, Joe, like when he slipped through the cracks of justice twice already.
Yeah.
He's all smiles.
Three
Invincible.
times.
Invincible.
3 times.
Yeah, this fucking piece of shit. 3 times.
Well, yeah.
Did you
Once
do-
when he got in Waterloo, and then 2 times he was. Yeah.
What-
He
what
couldn't
did-
stand it while he was on parole.
What did
Right.
Gacy say to the dad?
Yeah, so Gacy, he's all smiles as usual. Yeah, sure. I'll help look. But let's be honest, Johnny, he probably ran away. You love that? That's what he tells the father.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Classic Gacy. Helpful neighbor on the outside, but he'd already killed the kid. When cops ask questions, Gacy spins a lie. Yeah, John and some friends came by for their pay. We talked, made a deal. They left. Case closed. That's what he tells them.
Yeah.
If we could just get back to the part-time PDM construction company really quick.
Yeah.
He's cutting payroll checks out of the palatial palace, eh?
Oh, yeah.
There's no payroll department or...
No.
Nobody's cutting checks, just Big John.
Just Big John.
Just Big John.
Okay, I
In
was
fact,
just
Tony
curious.
has a blank one.
A blank check from PDM.
Yeah,
I do remember
he
that.
does. Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
Gosh. So after he killed John, he stuffed the body in the garage like old Christmas decorations. Planned to bury him in the crawl space because that's his go-to spot.
I have a question.
Sure.
You may or may not know the answer to this, but when the cops showed up to question him, he had already killed him, right?
Yes.
So the body, when the cops showed up at the house, the body was in the garage,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but they never searched anything.
They never searched.
No,
Ever.
they never, ever had a search warrant.
Wow. All right. What happens next?
The kid
Yeah.
probably ran away.
It would have
He
been the
came
best
by.
thing that ever happened to the kid if he did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't.
He came by, gave him his money, and that's it. He left.
Case
closed.
Yeah. Right.
Case closed.
Oh,
All right, so yeah. Surprise though, guys. John's wife and stepdaughters, they came home early.
When John was getting ready.
Yeah. So John, he improvised, he'd be great in theater. Buried the body under the concrete floor of the tool room right off the garage. And here's the part, that really pisses me off.
Me too.
For 3 years, Bukovich's parents begged the police. Over 100 calls, you guys. Over 100 calls. Pleading for someone to look closer at Gacy. To get a search warrant at least, but nothing. The guy's stacking bodies like fucking firewood and flying under the radar. What the fuck?
I mean, at some point, you got to take it into your own hands, right?
Yeah.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. If it was you or Tony that was missing, I'd have been waterboarding him.
Oh,
I'd say, fuck the police,
I like it.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Get that fat doughboy.
I mean, I'm knocking on his front door, but not with
Yeah.
my hand, with the
Right.
barrel of my shotgun.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I'm coming in regardless.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Eazy-E in
Yeah.
NWA.
That's exactly
Fuck
what
the
I would've
police.
done.
Just think at the horror and what those parents must have felt.
Exactly.
Oh,
For 3 years, you have no idea. This piece of shit did it.
yeah.
And then for 3 years, they just get jerked around. It's terrible.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck the police.
Terrible to think about.
Yeah.
Fuck the police. Oh, so how many red flags does it take, right, to get a search warrant in the 1970s? Apparently more than a missing kid, a shady boss, and a cement floor hiding a corpse. This wasn't justice failing. It was justice passed out drunk while Gacy kept on killing.
Let's go back. Let's tally up the score for Gacy at this point. So by now he's killed another boy while his wife, Carol Huff, and her daughters are still living in this fucking house. You remember that Rob Zombie movie, House of a Thousand Corpses?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it reminds me of.
Yeah, right.
Every time I think of his house, I think of that. 2 bodies are in the crawl space, and Bukovic is decaying under the concrete floor in the tool shed off the garage, right?
Yeah.
How the fuck did nobody notice this? I mean, the stench of these bodies, it just doesn't go away.
No.
How could, I mean, if you bury somebody in cement, I could see that happening more than like being in a crawl space underneath.
Yeah.
But the smell had to be
Had to be
horrific.
terrible.
Putrid.
So
He had some bullshit story, you know, and she's a fucking whack job. So
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
remember in May of 1975, he tells her that he's now bisexual and they will be having no more sex.
I'm bisexual.
He wasn't gay, he said. He was bisexual. And the sexual encounters with his wife were going to end. But she didn't leave him.
no.
What the
no.
fuck? Why?
She doesn't leave him
Why not?
because he's bisexual, because he's giving her some cock too on the side, right?
Let's hear Gacy talk about being bisexual.
Okay.
The media has called you a homosexual killer. What is your position on homosexuality?
I have nothing against it. I'm an outspoken liberal. I don't care for the labeling. I don't care for any labeling for that fact.
Do you
I mean,
claim,
I've been,
do you claim
no.
homosexuality?
No, I would definitely not be homosexual. I have nothing against what they do, and I don't deny that I've engaged in sex with males, but that I'm bisexual.
You're bisexual?
Right. My preference is women, and I've been married enough times and have children, and I see nothing wrong with it.
Come on, John.
Come on.
You're homosexual.
Mhm.
Fine.
Fine.
Just like your dad predicted you to be.
Exactly. Just own it.
Fine. Exactly. Just own it.
Own
But
it.
his dad said, "You're a queer, John. You're a little queer. You're a mama's boy, little queer."
I could see, you're talking about way back then. It wasn't, now it's more accepted than it was back then. But why couldn't he just own up to it? Like, who
He
cares?
just
Because it was the
couldn't do
image, right?
The image.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was a big, tough John, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, like it really matters that he's queer, right? He's a fucking serial killer. He's got bodies buried
That's
in
okay.
his crawl space.
That's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay. But being homosexual is something that's not.
Bisexual.
You know, and this is Robert Ressler. I mean, he's already been convicted of all these killings and sodomy and all the other shit that came with it.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't say he was gay. He just couldn't do it.
Guys, I'm going to do an
They're dirty
impersonation for you
people.
real quick. Who is this? I don't like labels. I don't like labels.
That's
I'm a
John.
registered Democrat liberal.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
Johnny.
I have nothing against them.
Yeah.
You hear his voice just is like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It is. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't admit it because of the ego. I think that's
Yeah,
what
I
it
do
was.
too.
It didn't fit
Yeah.
the image,
Right.
the big bravado of, John Gacy, the
He wouldn't
upstanding
even say
man
it
in
to
the
his
community.
wife.
It's on.
If I like dick, you guys, I would tell you guys. I'd be the first to come out of the closet.
So let's talk about Carol for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
stays.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Love is blind.
Oh.
Well, I mean, apparently it's brain dead in her situation, but
Yeah, and also
Carol,
smells from
baby.
the crawl space.
Carol, what were you thinking? The red flags weren't just waving. This shit was on fire. I mean, the house was on fire. If there wasn't a red flag in this whole situation, I don't fucking know what was. But meanwhile, Doughboy there,
Mm.
who looked like a melted wax figure in a cheap suit, he's out every night, creeping back in like a vampire before the sun comes up. This creep of the night. And then things get even weirder and a lot darker. Carol,
This is awesome.
poor Carol, huh?
Poor
Poor
Carol.
Carol.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
What
She
if what a
was
fucking idiot.
So Carol starts noticing these teenage boys that are just slipping into the garage. Not once, not twice, but quite frequently. Always late, always quiet, like ghosts with something to hide. Now, I'm married, okay? I think that my wife would notice if I had like teenage, I'm a 45-year-old man. If I had teenage boys just quietly slipping into my garage every day. What was this lady thinking?
Exactly.
Obviously.
So he says he's bisexual. No more sex. I can't imagine he was thrilling to be around. He's got boys, teenage boys that are coming in and out of the garage late at night. And she didn't, like, the light bulb didn't go on and say that maybe some shit's fucked up here. Anyway, so at night, his house turns into something completely different. The walls, once silent, they start whispering. She hears noises, shuffling, dragging, the kind of sounds that make your skin tighten up. And a lot of times, maybe muffled cries or who knows, were they screams? But hey, probably just birds in the attic, right? Weirdo.
Probably.
Just birds with human voices. That's
Right.
the difference.
Yeah.
But then, my friends, she starts to find things.
Yes.
Not just gay porn stashed like a teenage boy's dirty secrets, but she starts to find wallets with IDs and jewelry. Pieces of other people's lives were scattered around like Gacy was collecting trophies from the dead. Little reminders that someone had been there and now they were gone. So, just to have a brief summary.
Yeah.
Bisexual, no sex, creepy as hell, boys coming in the garage at night, people disappearing. She hears cries, she hears muffled screams. Now she finds IDs, and now she finds jewelry. What the fuck?
Bisexual.
What does she do next?
But Carol, what did you tell your parents?
I told them that John Gacy is just a beautiful human. He's a beautiful Polish boy.
Thank you, Carol.
So what does she do next?
She confronts him.
Finally. For fuck's sake, finally.
She finally confronts him because how long can you pretend this isn't happening? It was a great summation.
That was
You
Joe.
got the odors, the smells, you got the leakage on the carpet.
It ain't rocket science.
No, you got
Yeah.
identifications, trophies, jewelry.
She found everything short of maybe, here's a pair of underwear, but she pulled them right out of the victim's throat. I wonder if she'd have said something.
How much would you have paid to be able to witness the video or audio of her confronting him?
Oh,
Can you imagine?
a lot.
A lot.
Carol,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
It's
Well, she confronted him, and guess what? He snapped.
Because nothing says you're
Gacy-
guilty more than the defensiveness.
Right? The Gacy she thought she knew is gone. And in his place is a raging, snarling thing, spitting venom, screaming that this is none of her fucking business. Get out of my house.
My palatial palace.
You get out of this palatial palace right now. If you can find your way out, I know it's pretty big. Fuck you, Carol. Fuck you. Teenagers. That's where it's at, boys. Carol would later say, when he got angry, he didn't just lose his temper, he fucking transformed. And we've heard this many times. His face twisted. It changed.
I would love to see it.
His eyes got really, really, they're black. And she said it was like a mask. The mask slipped off and there was a monster looking at her. Yeah, Carol. It's not a mood swing. It's a fucking monster with a human face.
It's the devil.
It is.
A demon.
So here you go, guys. She finally, what?
Who likes to sodomize?
Yeah, he does. Doesn't he? Not Carol, though.
No.
All right, she finally files for divorce in October of 1975. Good for her, right?
Wrong.
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 Because she didn't leave. He didn't leave. Nobody fucking left. Nobody.
So she didn't get her two kids out of there.
Carol stayed in the house with him till February of 1976. She stayed 5 months after she filed for divorce, after she heard weird noises, after she saw teenagers, after she found jewelry, after he said, no more fucking, Carol, because I've got all the boys I need. Can you imagine that, living 5 months with this guy? A guy whose smile could curdle blood? A man who didn't just keep secrets, he buried them.
A man who looked the way he looked at 3 years old. That'd be enough right
That
there
would be,
to not fucking, you gotta go there and you gotta see them.
yeah, you gotta
see that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm sure Carol never saw that picture. Nah, she might have. Anyway, she stayed with her 2 daughters in
No
a
sex,
house.
though, right? No sex.
No sex.
No.
She probably had a dildo and a vibrator, but other than that, no.
Mm-hmm.
So she stayed with her 2 daughters in a house that it might as well have been called a mausoleum at this point.
I can't believe she would keep her fucking kids
No.
when she had those thoughts of John. And
Especially after she saw the transformation
Yeah,
of who
she
he really
stayed there.
was.
She
Yeah,
stayed
like
there. It's a house is full of sounds at night, mysterious IDs, pornographic magazines, teenage boys slipping in and out of the house in the middle of the night. I said it before. Let me say it again. She must have been a real fucking whack job.
or she was in on it.
Or she knew and just decided, but he bought her all. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows,
Who
right?
knows?
that'd make
So
a good
when
movie.
the divorce finally goes through in March of 1976, it's filed under the false claim of infidelity with women.
Women? Are you fucking kidding me? Women were about as relevant to Gacy's sex life as a salad bar at a barbecue. He wasn't cheating. He was hunting. Teenage boys, runaways, kids no one would miss. And he was keeping pieces of them like a psychopath with a scrapbook. Now, finally unshackled, no fucking Carol, no fucking little brats running around the house, no family dinner nights. Gacy was free. He was free, and I mean really free. Like a demon just got released on parole, kind of free. Like a man-child who likes to sodomize little boys, orally and anally. Oh my gosh.
You know what, though? That was kind of his cover, though. Right? She was kind of his cover.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know, I have a wife and we have 2 children in the
Respectability.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that he used that to his advantage for a long time.
Yeah.
I think he did
That
too.
part-time construction company.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyways, though, guys, he's ready, right?
Yeah.
He's willing and ready to hit the fucking streets like a madman on a mission, cruising, hunting. Creepy fucker. Wearing that smile, that creepy fucking smile. The one that says, "You can trust me," right before the van door shuts.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't just playing clown anymore. Oh, no. He was the clown. But behind the makeup, the costume, and the balloon animals, I doubt it. I doubt that fucker could make balloon animals. I mean, that's a talent.
Come on. John Wayne Gacy.
Come on. Who do you think you're talking about here?
Exactly.
It's a man
Like you
of
do
some
it all,
importance.
Like I could see that little boy in the movie.
Wedding Crashers.
Make me a
Wedding
bicycle.
Crashers. Make me a bicycle.
Whoa.
Right?
I want a bicycle balloon, man. Fuck
Yeah.
it. I want it.
Why are you yelling at me?
Exactly. No. See, Gacy would say,
I'm going to make you a bicycle.
exactly, and it'll sodomize you. Right?
He could do
Yeah.
that. Don't ever doubt him, please.
You
Don't
he
ever
could do
doubt
those?
his talents.
Oh my gosh. So behind all this masquerade and this facade was death.
Real death.
Yes. And if anybody, you got to look him up on our channel and you got to see him as a clown. If you've never seen it, it's spooky.
Really spooky.
Yeah.
He looks like a demon clown. Ugh. Well, guys, that's a wrap for now.
Thank God. I couldn't take him anymore. It's like,
He's tough.
you got to do him in doses.
He's tough to
Yeah.
deal with.
See, I got this book here. More letters to Mr. Gacy. Open it up, Joe. It's really autographed by
Right in
the
front.
killer clown, John Wayne Gacy himself.
Ugh.
There it is.
Look at the cover, though. Look at the cover.
Yeah.
This weird ass skeleton / scarecrow fucking clown. But these are a bunch of letters, right?
Yeah, of people who wrote to him.
He even had a letter to Brian Dennehy when Brian was going to play him in that series,
Yeah.
which was excellent.
Uh-huh. We might be over for now, you guys. But trust me, the horror show is far from over. You know, big thanks to my brother Joey for keeping me grounded. Phew. While I dive headfirst into this pit of nightmares. Serious. Joey, without you, I'd probably be talking to myself in a padded room somewhere. Getting sodomized.
Oh, God.
Jeez. No, I love you.
I love you too. Let's take that word out of his vocabulary.
Should
what do you
we?
think? I think we should.
Yeah, okay. I'll waterboard him a little.
Waterboard me. And of course, a special shout out to the Coxman. You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who watches.
The lead detective.
Everybody who watches this crazy podcast knows who the Coxman is.
Detective Coxman.
Detective
Mhm.
Coxman. Yeah, I like that. I like that, Joe.
You're like a crime-fueled guardian angel with questionable boundaries. I love
Sounds
you.
like Gacy.
I love you too, Dad.
I love you, buddy. I love you too.
God bless you guys. Join us next time for John Wayne Gacy, episode 3, Screams on Summerdale, where things somehow get even darker just when you thought that would be impossible. Yeah, I didn't think it was possible either, but here we are.
Yep.
So take care, stay safe, and remember, always walk in the calm after the storm. Because sometimes the storm follows you home.
And can I say something before we go off?
Yeah.
I didn't think Tony was going to make it. He's come through some really, really bad times. And was that the storm following you home?
Last night was one,
Yeah, I
just
know.
one example.
I know. So we're here for you. We love you. We're here to support you. And so are all those people. And
Thanks, guys.
yeah, he made
Thanks, guys.
He did. He made one hell of a sacrifice to get here, folks.
It's a gamer.
Yes, he is a gamer.
He's a
That's what I
gamer.
told him yesterday.
Gamer.
Definitely. That's a wrap.